Over 60, what if I told you the fish on your plate could decide whether you stay sharp and steady or slowly slip into weakness and fog? For decades, we've been told that all fish is healthy, lean protein, brain food, heart protection. But the truth is far more dangerous. Some of the most common fish sold in America are loaded with hidden mercury, toxic residues, and inflammatory fats that hit older bodies hardest. Every bite can quietly chip away at memory, stiffen your joints, and drain the very strength you worked a lifetime to build. I am Dr. Jonathan Hale. For more than 30 years, I've guided older adults in protecting independence and extending vitality. And I can tell you, not all fish are created equal. Your liver, kidneys, and digestion slow with age, which means toxins from the wrong fish linger longer, do more damage, and steal more years. But here's the hope. Certain fish, clean and nutrient-rich, can act like daily medicine, restoring energy, protecting your brain, and keeping your heart resilient well into your 70s and 80s. Today you'll discover 4 fish you should never touch and 4 you should eat often to fight aging from the inside out. Before we dive in, add your voice. Comment your age and where you're watching from. We are building a strong senior community, standing together against aging. We're uniting a global family of health warriors who believe in the extraordinary power of natural healing. Drop your country in the comments and let's show that our movement for strength and longevity reaches every corner of the world. Worst fish number 1, farmed tilapia. It's everywhere, on dinner trays and frozen bags, even in senior health meal kits. It's cheap, it's soft, and it's marketed as a heart-friendly protein. But what many older adults don't realize is that this fish may quietly be feeding inflammation, not fighting it. Over 90% of tilapia sold in the U.S. is raised overseas, in crowded industrial ponds across China, Vietnam, and Latin America. These aren't clean water systems. These are shallow, stagnant pools where fish are packed tight and often exposed to chemical waste and untreated runoff. To keep them alive, producers rely heavily on antibiotics, antifungals, and growth stimulants, many of which are banned or restricted in the U.S. Those substances don't cook out. They accumulate in the meat and end up in your bloodstream. And here's why that's more dangerous after 60. The liver and kidneys become less efficient with age. That means toxins stick around longer, building up silently in your joints, your gut, even your brain. What looks like slow stiffness or mental fatigue might actually be your body struggling under a toxic load it can no longer clear. Nutritionally, it gets worse. Research from Wake Forest University showed that farmed tilapia can have an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio as high as 11 to 1. That's not just bad, it's inflammatory. Omega-6 in excess promotes swelling, disrupts blood sugar control, and accelerates breakdown in cartilage and connective tissue. Harriet, a retired teacher in Oregon, age 71, thought tilapia was the healthy choice. She baked it twice a week, always seasoned lightly, always grilled. But the joint pain didn't let up. Her blood pressure crept higher. Her doctor measured CRP, an inflammation marker, and it was elevated. After removing tilapia and switching to a cleaner fish, her CRP dropped by 22% in just over a month. Her knees felt lighter, her thinking sharper. And in some batches of imported tilapia, there's a deeper threat, dioxins. These industrial pollutants accumulate in body fat and can stay there for years. Dioxins have been linked to hormonal imbalance, immune disruption, and cancer risk. For older adults with reduced detox function, that's a risk you don't want sitting on your plate. So if you're over 60, skip the tilapia, especially if it's farmed or imported. There are better choices, cleaner, richer in real omega-3s, and far less likely to leave your body battling silent inflammation. And the next fish, it's one many seniors trust, but it carries a neurotoxin that your body can't handle like it used to. Worst fish number 2, swordfish. Known for its meaty texture and bold flavor, it often shows up on restaurant menus as a premium choice. But what most people don't realize, especially those over 60, is that swordfish is one of the most mercury-loaded fish you can eat. And mercury doesn't just pass through your system, it accumulates, especially in the brain. Swordfish are long-living predators. They sit high on the ocean food chain, feeding on smaller fish year after year. That means they absorb mercury from everything below them, and over time, their levels become dangerously high. In fact, according to data from the FDA, swordfish ranks among the top 3 highest mercury fish consumed in the U.S. Here's the problem. Mercury is a neurotoxin, and aging brains are more vulnerable to its effects. After 60, the blood-brain barrier weakens. That makes it easier for toxins like mercury to penetrate and linger, disrupting how neurons communicate. The result? Symptoms that often mimic normal aging, like forgetfulness, mood swings, poor focus, and even tremors. Take Gary, a 66-year-old retired architect from Arizona. He loved swordfish and ordered it almost every time he dined out. But over the span of a year, he began noticing changes. His thoughts felt slower, his sleep turned restless, and he became easily agitated. At first, he blamed stress or age, but a heavy metal panel revealed elevated mercury levels. When he cut out swordfish entirely, those symptoms began to ease within weeks. It's not just memory. Mercury has also been linked to irregular heart rhythms, elevated blood pressure, and numbness in the hands and feet. And unlike some toxins, mercury isn't flushed quickly. It binds to tissues and stays there, especially in bodies with slower metabolic function, like those past 60. Despite these risks, many restaurants still serve swordfish without warning labels. It looks elegant, it tastes rich, but beneath that surface is a compound your body was never built to process regularly, especially not at this stage of life. If you're over 60, skip the swordfish. No amount of grilling, seasoning, or moderation makes it safe. And if you think mercury is the only hidden threat in your seafood, just wait. There's another fish that delivers a double blow, combining toxic metals with chemicals that quietly disrupt your body's balance. Worst fish, number 3, king mackerel. At first glance, it looks like a lean, heart-friendly choice. Many menus simply call it mackerel, and most seniors assume all mackerel must be healthy. But the truth is, king mackerel is one of the most toxic fish you can eat after 60. Here's why. King mackerel are large, long-lived predators. They sit high on the food chain, which means year after year, they accumulate mercury and industrial pollutants in their flesh. According to FDA and EPA guidelines, king mackerel ranks on the absolute do not eat list for seniors, pregnant women, and children. The levels of mercury are so high that even 1 or 2 servings a month can push you above the safe limit. Mercury isn't the only danger. Independent testing has found PCB residues in king mackerel. PCBs are man-made chemicals once used in industry, now banned, but still persisting in ocean waters. They act as endocrine disruptors, interfering with hormones that control metabolism, blood sugar, and even mood. For older adults whose systems already run slower, this toxic combination can be devastating. Think about the symptoms: tremors that feel like shaky hands, trouble focusing or remembering names, mood swings that seem to come out of nowhere. Many seniors chalk these up to normal aging, but they can be signs of mercury and PCB exposure. For the cardiovascular system, the risks are just as sharp. Mercury and PCBs damage vessel walls, stiffen arteries, and trigger irregular heart rhythms. That means higher risk of heart attack and stroke, especially in bodies already fighting high blood pressure or diabetes. Consider Dolores, a 69-year-old retired nurse from Florida. She loved ordering grilled mackerel at a beachside restaurant, believing it was a smart protein choice. Over time, she developed fatigue, tingling in her fingers, and rising blood pressure despite taking medication. When her doctor ran tests, her mercury levels were well above normal. After cutting out king mackerel and switching to smaller, cleaner fish, her energy returned within weeks and her blood pressure stabilized. So what should you do? If you enjoy mackerel, stick to Atlantic mackerel or Spanish mackerel. Both are smaller species with far less mercury. They're safe, nutritious, and still deliver the omega-3s you expect from fish. But king mackerel? For seniors over 60, it's best left completely off the menu. No amount of seasoning or cooking can remove the toxins that have built up inside this fish. And if you thought avoiding one toxic fish was enough, Wait until you see another popular choice that looks safe on the plate, but hides a chemical cocktail inside its flesh. Worst fish number 4, farmed salmon. It looks elegant on the plate, pink, tender, and full of promise. For many seniors, it feels like a safe bet. You've heard it's rich in omega-3, good for your heart, good for your brain. But if that salmon wasn't caught wild, the truth is far more troubling. Farmed salmon are raised in crowded underwater pens, often off the coasts of Chile, Norway, or Canada. Thousands of fish crammed into tight spaces, swimming in their own waste. To keep disease from wiping out the stock, farms rely on antibiotics, pesticides, and synthetic chemicals, many of which remain in the fish's tissue long after harvest. That residue doesn't cook out. It ends up in your body, and the older you are, the more that matters. After 60, your detox system's slow. Your liver doesn't filter as quickly. Your immune defenses weaken, which means chemicals from farmed salmon, chemicals never meant to be in food, can linger longer, do more damage, and quietly build up over time. What's worse, the nutritional profile of farmed salmon isn't what most people think. While wild salmon naturally contains high levels of anti-inflammatory omega-3s, farmed salmon has a much higher ratio of omega-6, which promotes inflammation. In fact, some studies have shown that depending on the feed used, farmed salmon can have nearly 5 times more omega-6 than wild salmon. That shiftal one can fan the flames of joint pain, artery stiffness, and cognitive decline. To make the fish appear healthy, some farms even add artificial coloring to the feed to give the flesh its signature pink hue. Without it, the meat would be gray. That's not food. That's marketing. Rita, a 74-year-old retiree from Wisconsin, ate farmed salmon every Sunday, thinking she was helping her heart. But over time, her blood pressure worsened, her cholesterol climbed. She felt bloated and sluggish after meals. Her doctor asked a simple question: "Where's your fish from?" When she switched to wild salmon, her energy returned. Her triglycerides dropped. She called it the simplest fix I never saw coming. And then there's the cancer risk. A 2004 study in Science found that farmed salmon contained levels of PCBs, a class of industrial toxins, up to 10 times higher than wild salmon. These compounds disrupt hormones, strain the liver, and have been linked to multiple forms of cancer. For older adults already managing chronic inflammation or weakened immunity, that risk is multiplied. So if salmon is on your plate, make sure it's wild caught. Look for Alaskan or sockeye on the label. Avoid anything labeled Atlantic salmon. That's farmed by default. And if you've assumed all salmon is safe, you're not alone. But the next group of fish will show you what real healing food looks like. Best fish number 4, sardines. Small, humble, and often overlooked. Yet for people over 60, these little fish carry extraordinary power. Sardines are one of nature's richest sources of omega-3s. Just a small can packs over 1,500 milligrams of EPA and DHA, nutrients proven to calm inflammation, support arteries, and sharpen memory. In the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, seniors who ate sardines twice a week showed 35% lower inflammatory markers than those who didn't. That's not theory. That's science you can taste. But omega-3s aren't the only reason sardines matter. After 60, vitamin D deficiency becomes almost universal. Weak bones, slower reflexes, more falls. Many times the culprit is low vitamin D. A single serving of sardines provides nearly half your daily need. And because you eat the soft bones too, you also get calcium and phosphorus in the perfect form your body can actually use. Walter, a 72-year-old retired postal worker in Ohio, rarely got sun in the winter and avoided dairy because it upset his stomach. His knees ached, his energy lagged. His doctor suggested sardines twice a week. Within 3 months, his bone scan improved, and he felt steadier climbing stairs. No supplements, just a simple food. And here's another advantage. Sardines feed on plankton, not other fish. That means they carry virtually no mercury, unlike tuna or king mackerel. For seniors, that makes them one of the cleanest seafood options available. So how do you enjoy them? Try them straight from the tin, mixed with avocado on whole grain toast, or tossed into a salad with olive oil and lemon. Just 2 small servings a week can nourish your heart, protect your bones, and keep your brain firing sharp. And if sardines prove small fish can deliver big benefits, wait until you see the next one. Tiny, salty, and even more versatile. Best fish number 3, anchovies. They may be tiny, but they're packed with nutrients older bodies desperately need. Often used as a pizza topping or hidden in Caesar dressing, anchovies rarely get the respect they deserve. Yet for seniors over 60, they're one of the smartest seafood choices you can make. Anchovies deliver concentrated omega-3s in a very small portion. Just 1 ounce provides nearly 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA, similar to larger fish, but without the heavy metals. A 2020 study in Nutrients showed that seniors who regularly ate small oily fish like anchovies had better cardiovascular health and significantly lower triglycerides compared to those who didn't. That's protection you can measure. But omega-3s aren't the only story. Anchovies are also rich in calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin K2, a trio that strengthens bones and keeps arteries flexible. For people over 60, that's crucial. Fragile bones and stiff arteries are 2 of the biggest risks to independence. By eating anchovies, you get the minerals needed to reinforce both. Consider Linda, a 68-year-old librarian in New York. She struggled with brittle nails and mild osteoporosis. Her doctor recommended adding anchovies twice a week, mashed into tomato sauce and stirred into salads. Within 6 months, her bone density scan improved, and she felt stronger on her daily walks. The flavor was bold, but the benefits were undeniable. Anchovies are also one of the rare natural foods high in selenium, a mineral linked to sharper memory and lower rates of cognitive decline in older adults. Combined with their complete protein, anchovies help preserve muscle mass while protecting the brain. And let's not forget practicality. Anchovies are shelf-stable, inexpensive, and versatile. Mix them into sauces, mash onto whole grain bread with olive oil, or add to roasted vegetables. A little goes a long way, and just 2 servings per week can boost both heart and bone health. If anchovies prove that strength can come in small packages, the next fish shows how nature's vibrant colors hold the key to resilience. Best fish number 2, wild salmon. For decades, salmon has been praised as one of the healthiest foods on earth, and when it comes to seniors over 60, that reputation is well earned. But here's the key: you must choose wild. Farmed salmon, as we've seen, can harm more than it helps. Wild salmon, on the other hand, is a true medicine in disguise. A single 6-ounce portion of wild Alaskan salmon delivers over 40 grams of premium protein and more than 2,000 milligrams of omega-3s. These fatty acids, EPA and DHA, soothe inflammation, protect arteries, and keep brain cells firing smoothly. Research from the University of Pittsburgh found that seniors with higher DHA blood levels had larger brain volumes and stronger memory performance. That means salmon doesn't just slow decline, it helps preserve sharpness well into the 70s and 80s. Wild salmon is also one of the richest natural sources of astaxanthin, the antioxidant that gives its flesh that deep orange color. Astaxanthin shields cells from oxidative stress, the slow, rusting process inside the body that accelerates aging. Studies in marine drugs have shown astaxanthin reduces joint pain, supports skin elasticity, and even improves endurance in older adults. Consider Robert, a 70-year-old retired carpenter from Michigan. He battled stiff knees and brain fog that made it hard to focus on projects in his workshop. After his doctor recommended replacing farmed salmon with wild sockeye twice a week, Robert noticed real changes. Within 2 months, his joint pain eased, his energy improved, and his wife said he seemed clearer in conversations. For him, the swap felt like turning back the clock. And it's not just about omega-3s or antioxidants. Wild salmon is loaded with vitamin D, selenium, and B vitamins, nutrients many seniors lack. Together, they support bone strength, immunity, and nerve function. Preparation is simple. Bake or steam gently at medium heat to preserve delicate oils. A squeeze of lemon or drizzle of olive oil is all you need. Aim for 2 servings a week. It's not an indulgence. It's an investment in your memory, your mobility, and your independence. If salmon proves that vibrant color signals healing power, the next fish shows how mild flavor and purity can become a senior's greatest ally. Best fish number 1, rainbow trout. It may not have the fame of salmon, but for seniors over 60, it's one of the cleanest, safest, and most nourishing fish you can choose. Raised in carefully managed freshwater systems in the U.S., rainbow trout avoids many of the problems that plague other farm fish. That means no overcrowded cages, no heavy antibiotic use, and far less risk of hidden toxins. Nutritionally, rainbow trout delivers close to 1,000 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids per serving. These oils act like natural lubricants for stiff joints, calm low-grade inflammation, and protect against clogged arteries. In fact, a 2021 review in the Journal of Nutrition and Healthy Aging highlighted that seniors who consume trout twice a week had significantly lower blood pressure and improved vascular flexibility. For a population where nearly 70% struggle with hypertension, that's a lifesaver. But omega-3s are only the beginning. Rainbow trout is rich in potassium, which balances sodium and lowers stroke risk. It provides phosphorus and calcium for strong bones, plus vitamin B12 and niacin to keep nerves firing and cholesterol in check. And unlike many larger fish, trout accumulates almost no mercury. That makes it safe to eat regularly without fear of toxic buildup. Take Elaine, a 73-year-old retired pianist from Colorado. She often felt lightheaded when standing and worried about falling. After adding trout to her diet twice a week, usually pan-seared with olive oil and lemon, her blood pressure readings improved and her balance felt steadier. She described it as finding calm inside my body. Rainbow trout is also easy on digestion. Its mild flavor and tender texture make it a gentle option for seniors who struggle with oily or strong-tasting fish. And it adapts beautifully. Bake it, grill it, or saute it with herbs. You don't need elaborate recipes, just clean preparation to let the nutrients shine. If salmon is a bold protector, rainbow trout is a quiet guardian. Steady, reliable, and perfectly suited for aging bodies. And when combined with sardines and anchovies, it forms a foundation of seafood that truly supports longevity. So now that you've seen both sides, the 4 fish to avoid and the 4 fish to embrace, it's time to bring it all together. So here's the full picture. 4 fish that quietly erode your strength after 60, farm tilapia with its inflammatory fats, swordfish overloaded with mercury, king mackerel carrying toxins and hormone disruptors, and farm salmon with chemicals and empty nutrition. Each one looks harmless on the plate, but inside your body they fan the flames of aging. And on the other side, 4 allies that fight for you every time you eat them. Sardines, rich in omega-3s and calcium for bones and memory. Anchovies, tiny but loaded with nutrients that protect the heart and sharpen the mind. Wild salmon, vibrant with protein and astaxanthin to power your joints, skin, and brain. And rainbow trout, clean, safe, and steady, nourishing every system without toxins. These aren't just meals. They are choices that decide whether you'll carry groceries with confidence, walk stairs without fear, or remember the details of conversations with clarity. You're not just choosing fish. You're choosing health, independence, and the years still ahead of you. Now I want to hear from you. Comment which fish you'll change after watching this video. Tell us your age and where you're watching from. We are building a global community of health warriors, seniors who believe aging should never mean decline. Your voice strengthens this movement. If you found this helpful, hit like, share it with a friend who loves seafood, and subscribe for more science-backed health tips every week. Together we can stand against aging, one smart choice at a time.